So, do you remember during the Black Star Dragon Ball arc in GT how Goku was just there? Do you remember how Goku was kind of just hanging out there for most of the arc until it was time for him to do something cool, like fight Legic, or fight this guy, or fight the ultimate god of destruction, Mu? The GT writing staff realized that this material was drying up pretty quickly and they needed to come up with something new and interesting. So rather than searching the universe for these ultimate Dragon Balls, Black Star Dragon Balls, we got Baby. Shortly after a painstakingly 19 episodes, guess what? Toriyama and his primary editor, Kazuhiko Torishima, saw this way long ago, back in 1984. What? Yes! 1984? Yes! But that's the year that George Orwell's Winston Smith challenged Big Brother. I know! But we're talking about Dragon Ball, not dystopian novels. Back in the early days, prior to the start of the Dragon Ball manga, Toriyama was beginning his next major serialization after the end of his first major hit, Dr. Slump, in the shape of a loose retelling of Journey to the West. Yes, we know this already. Well, upon reception of the initial chapters, Dragon Ball did what's the opposite of great? Not fantastic. Yes, it's true. Toriyama's new work was not living up to the expectations of his fans from Dr. Slump. So what could be done about this? Luckily for Toriyama, even if it was a pain for him, his editor, Torishima, was a bit of a genius and kind of a madman. And he knew exactly what made manga great and what made manga not fantastic. Just to exemplify how much of a genius Torishima was, during the pre-planning days of Dragon Ball, Toriyama tried to make Goku a literal monkey, as this was a retelling of Journey to the West and Sun Wukong was a legit monkey. The Monkey King even. But Torishima took issue to this and told him that he needs to make his main character a real boy, like Pinocchio. Because boys read this manga and boys need to project to what they're reading. Right now, there is a manga guide on Kanzenshu outlining the prototypes of Dragon Ball. When it came to the proposed outline of what will become Dragon Ball, there is a sketch of Goku as a monkey. Underneath it, Torishima states, "The real important thing for boys manga is that you need to make the readers feel like they are connected to the protagonist. There needs to be a very strong emotional connection from the readers to the protagonist, that they see themselves as the character. So, if the protagonist in Dragon Ball was a monkey, which was the original plan, then no one can relate to that." So then, in Toriyama's next sketch, we see Goku as a regular boy. And again, Torishima takes issue to that. Or was it Dr. Mashirito? Again, from the same Kanzenshu manga guide. By way of Dr. Mashirito's commenting in 1987's Dragon Ball Adventure Special, we learn that this draft was rejected at least partially on the basis that there was no energy to the main character, dressed as a good little boy. So in the final draft, we get Goku with the tail, and it's thanks to the tail that we see him grow up to be the Saiyan that we know and love. Thanks, Dr. Mashirito. Back on track though, Dragon Ball's first arc did not receive well. Okay, enter Torishima's guidance. So in an interview with Forbes magazine provided to me by Vegito EX from Kanzenshu, thanks again for that by the way, Torishima discusses Dragon Ball's initial reception. So we discuss I don't even remember the voice I did for the first quote for Torishima, and this is actually a lot longer of a quote, so I'm not gonna even do it again. So we discussed about why this type of story wasn't resonating with readers and why we aren't doing well in the rankings. The conclusion we came to was that Goku, the protagonist, was not strong enough, that he didn't resonate with the readers very well. From there, we discussed a great deal about what Goku should be like. The answer was that Goku wants to get stronger and stronger. In order to pursue that theme, we decided to forget all the previous characters except for Goku and Master Roshi. To strengthen this theme further, we added a new character called Krillin. Mainly focusing on 3 characters, we made new episodes based around the training of Goku. In addition, to show how Goku became stronger, we made a big tournament in this story. After all this, the ranking shot back up to the top again. The interview also goes into how Torishima meddled his way into the anime production after being unsatisfied with Dr. Slump and the first portion of Dragon Ball, which was unheard of at the time because these were 2 separate companies. This worked out perfectly as Toriyama was threatening to quit if he wasn't able to age Goku, which was all around the time before the start of the Dragon Ball Z anime. Now, back to Dragon Ball GT. GT started off weak because Goku was unrelatable and was only there as a reason to fight when the time called for it. And on top of that, he had no tail! Just like Dr. Masahiro foretold way back in '87. It's just as Torishima concluded in the early stages of Dragon Ball, the audience was not resonating with Goku, and can we blame them? Of course Goku had to be there, he's the main character of Dragon Ball, but arguably, Trunks and Pan were the ones that were carrying the show. So the writing staff of GT did their best to wrap up the Black Star Dragon Ball arc and bring in Baby, and that's the story. Part of the reason that GT did not meet fans' expectations was because it tried to replicate what the original series did, and people didn't receive that well when it happened in 1984. So how would isolating the ensemble cast and making the grand adventure in space with a tailless Goku and a ticking time bomb do any better? It simply couldn't. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, there are links in the description for the Forbes interview with Torishima and the prototypes of Dragon Ball manga guide from Kanzenshu. There is also a companion podcast episode that I recommend listening to from Kanzenshu that goes into what was going on with Toriyama at the time that he was getting ready to end Dr. Slump and start Dragon Ball. That's worth checking out as well. And I also want to thank Mike Vegito EX from Kanzenshu for providing me the link to the Forbes interview. He also provided me an additional link to an interview with Toriyama on his thoughts about what was going on after the Tenkaichi Budokai. I'll provide that in the description as well. Have a good day. Bye.